Hey friends, it's Cassie and welcome back for another video here on my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be talking a little bit about the tags of appreciation. These are a free with purchase gift, one of them. You will get a random one if you purchase $20 or above at the Trinity store, but these are the different ones that you might be able to get. I'm going to focus on a couple different ones, but as you can see, there's a lot of great ones available. I'll be focusing on these two tags, and then we're going to bring in the Cozy Christmas stamps and dies. Some of those images worked perfectly with those little tags. And then we're also going to be using the Tree-mendous Christmas stamp set for some of the sentiments. I went ahead and cut out several of the tags, and we're going to be using the colored ones just as tags themselves, and then we're going to be using those white ones on a card. I stamped out all of my images onto some Express It cardstock using some Blackout Hybrid ink by Ink on 3, and now we'll go ahead and get started with our coloring. I'm coloring my Christmas tree with some YG 95, and then we'll just color that all over our tree, and then I'll bring in a darker color just for some random low lights. I like how this stamp set is one of those where you can stamp either ornaments or you can stamp those little Christmas lights on there, which is what I did, or you can leave it plain, you don't have to do that, or you could stamp out a bunch of little lights or ornaments separately and use the die cut that goes with them to adhere them randomly onto your tree as well. I just went ahead and stamped them right down onto my tree, and then I'm just coloring around them. I brought in some YG 99, and then I'll blend that out a little bit more with my YG 95. And then I'll bring in the random colors for each of the lights. Just one color. I figured we didn't need to go too crazy with shadowing or highlights because these are such small images. I had already colored the hat using some R colors. I'll show those in a bit when I color our little bear's pants. And so we'll go ahead and get started on him. We've got some R29 for his pants. That's our light color. So I'll color that all over his little pants, making him almost look like he's a Santa bear, which I love that you can do that, or you don't have to do it that way. And then our darker color will be some R59. Then we're going to color his nose. I want him to be a little black bear, but I want his nose to be brown. So I started with some E15 and then came in with some E39. And then we're going to bring the warm colors in. So we've got W5. That'll be our light color. And then I'm going to bring in some W7. I figured the warm tones would work best here. And you'll notice that oftentimes when I'm coloring an image like this, or most of my images, I don't go all the way to the edge. That gives the illusion that your image is rounded. So we're doing that here. And then for his nose and his shoes, we're going to bring in some more W's. We've got W8 and his suspenders as well. And then we'll bring in the W10 and just add a little bit of shadowing there. I won't blend that out. For our little pup, we're going to bring in the E15. Normally, if y'all follow me at all, I color all my pups to look like my pup, but today I decided to make it a little brown pup. And then we'll bring in that E39. So none of my color combinations are actually changing. We're keeping everything basically the same as far as color combos go. And then for all the other little pieces, we're not going to add any shadowing into those simply because they are such small images. Except the presents, I will bring in one extra color. You'll also notice that I stamped the star out. That uses the bee sting yellow color. And then, yeah, our little snowman will get some W1 just for a little bit of shadowing on the snow itself. And then the shirt, and then the puff on the hat. We'll color our wreath the same color, YG 95, going around the little berries, but I won't bring in the YG 99. It's just a very small image. You could if you wanted to, but I decided to leave it fairly simple because these are going to end up being the little tags, and I figured with small tags like this, the recipient may end up throwing this away. Hopefully they don't, but if they do, then I won't feel quite as bad if this gets chucked. For the presents, I brought in B24, and then we're going to bring in B26, and then I won't blend those out, and then Y06 and Y08, and then back with those same reds that we used earlier, the R29 and the R59. And then we'll use our matching dies to cut all of those out, so that way we can start adhering those onto our tags and onto our card. So here I've matched them up with their little tags, the different colors, and I've pulled out the tiniest little sentiment that says, "Have yourself a merry little Christmas," and I'm going to do some very creative stamping here. I'll show you in a bit. You're going to mask a little bit. For the first part at the very bottom, I just need little Christmas, so I've inked that part up, and I'm going to do that for all of the little tags. So this way you can just get partial stamping. Then I'll clean that off really well, and I'm going to stamp the very first part. Once I realize what I want in the center there, I'm going to stamp the first part, leaving plenty of room. So we've got "Have yourself," and then that way "a merry" will fit in between. Clean that off, and then here's where we need some like small post-it tape or something that can mask that off, like possibly purple tape or washi tape. So now I'll mask off the sentiments that I don't need, the parts of the word that I don't need. And then once I get that little tape on there, I'm going to put this right into my ink. And then, so all I'm inking up is "a merry," and I'll make sure you pull off that post-it tape, and I'll repeat that process for all 3 tags. So now you have yourself a merry little Christmas" on each tag. The next step, super easy, just glue down whatever image you want onto your tag and see how perfectly those little things fit right onto those tags. And then we're also going to grab out some red sparkle hemp cord. Any baker's twine or anything like that might work perfectly. And I'm just going to cut those to be roughly about 10 inches long each, and I'll fold those in half. And then I will run those through the back of the tags, both pieces, and put that through the loop. So here I am cutting it. And then I end up tying off the top into a little knot. But this is easy to adhere to a little present, and you've got 3 quick little tags that you've made. Now we'll move on to the card. So I have the 5 little tags all ready to go, and we're going to do that same creative stamping that we did earlier using these sentiments. Once again, those come from the Tree-mendous Christmas stamp set. So I've stamped out Christmas, I've masked off the rest of the words. The whole sentiment itself says, "We wish you a Merry Christmas." And so I've got "We wish you a," and then we have "Merry" and "Christmas" on 3 different tags, and then "and a Happy New Year." So that makes up all 5 of our tags. I have a piece of Neenah cardstock cut down to the size of an A2 size card front, which is 4 1/4 by 5.5 inches. I'm going to put this onto my Wendy Vecchi Make Art Station, along with the oval A2 foundation stencil, one of the stencils that comes in that set. And I'm bringing in some Peacock blue along with one of my blender buddies, and I'm just going to blend that blue all throughout that oval. So I'll make sure that that's good and covered, blending that all over that background. I like how my oval is coming off the side of the card. It just gives the illusion that there's a lot more going on outside the card. And then I'm going to take this and put this inside my makeshift splatter box and splatter some shimmer spray all over that background, then heat set that so that I can move on to the assembly. Now I'll just assemble all the little pieces onto my card front, and that's okay that my tree comes off of that because I'm going to trim that little extra piece off later. But now we're just going to glue down each of our pieces. You could use some foam tape if you wanted to, but I wanted this to be a super easy mailer, so we're just going to glue down all of our pieces. And then once we're ready with that, we'll start gluing down our sentiment as well. So this is just really another fun way to use those tags that you get. Not only can you use them for presents, but also use them on your cards. So once I get all of those adhered down with that liquid glue, you could maybe add a little jewel or something to the end where there's the opening for the tag, or you can leave it as is, as I'm doing. And then I'm going to have my card base ready, which is just an A2 size card base. I had cut down to 5.5 by 8.5 inches and scored it at 4 1/4 inches. So then we'll adhere our card panel down to our card base, and it will cover it completely. And once that is down, that's going to finish off our card and our tags. So using just those 2 sets of tags, we've made a card and 3 little tags all ready for Christmas. Love how these turned out. I'll have all of the information about this promotion listed in the description box down below. If you liked this video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you have not already done so. And as always, I appreciate all the love and support you guys give, all the commenting, liking, subscribing. You guys are pretty incredible, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye, everybody.